In failing, I am required to read a long text while playing music written above the text. The text must be read out loud at more or less a normal pace, and I must not allow the music to slow me down. The task is fairly easy for a while because there is not much music, and because most of it comes at the ends of clauses and sentences, almost like normal punctuation. Later on, there is more music, and the task becomes more difficult. So difficult, in fact, that I will probably not be able to do it without either slowing down my reading speed or else making mistakes in the music. At least the composer feels confident that I will eventually begin to run into trouble, which is why he called the piece Failing. So far, the task is still not that difficult, but the challenge is that as the piece becomes more difficult, I must continue reading the text at a normal pace and playing the music as well as possible, just as I did in the beginning. By now, I am already rather busy just the notes and reading the text. But the text says that I should also try to listen to what I'm doing as much as possible and speak loud enough to keep a good balance between the speaking and the playing. Ideally, both the speaking and the music should flow easily and naturally so that the audience can easily follow either element at any time. Sometimes music has a strong aggressive quality and I have to speak quite loudly to be heard. But at other times, the music is lyrical, almost sentimental, and I must speak more softly so that the speaking will not cover up the music. But I should make sure that the text is always easy to understand. If I allow my voice to fluctuate too much with the rises and the falls of the music, the text may become difficult to understand, and that too would be a form of failing. Because the text makes it clear that the speaking should always be easy for the audience to understand, regardless of what happens musically. By now the task is rather challenging, but I have practiced the piece quite a bit. And that is a fact, as well as simply a line in the text. So unless I'm having a particularly bad night, I can still handle the music quite adequately without slowing my delivery of the text. I should be able to keep everything well in tune and play the dynamic markings accurately. If I'm concentrating well, I should be unable to play. People might be impressed by my playing and think that I had succeeded in playing a piece which a composer thought could not be played successfully by any bass player. But of course, by leaving out the hardest parts like that, I would be cheating and the performance would not really be a success at all. Since the piece is about failing, by now failing is extremely difficult. That is, the piece called Failing is extremely difficult. There are a few relaxed moments now and then, but most of the time I am required to play tricky chromatic melodies at a fast speed. By now I'm beginning to fail in one way or another. Of course, I don't particularly enjoy failing, and sometimes I think it would be better if I cheated so that I would not fail too badly and so that people would be more impressed by my playing ability. If I tried to fail and then failed, that too would be a kind of success and not a failure at all. So I must try to succeed. That way when I fail to succeed, I will succeed in communicating the essence of the piece, even though I will fail to accomplish this task as it is set up. In other words, I will not be able to fail unless I am trying to succeed. And I won't succeed in interpreting the piece sensitively unless my performance turns out to be a failure. But I should not be failing quite as often now as I was before, because the music is returning to some of the more lyrical material. But even that material is difficult to play as expressively as I would like, so under these circumstances. But at least there is not much danger that I will miss notes. And if I concentrate, I can also maintain a good balance between the speaking and the playing. And how soon, however, and I'm really making I will be faced with a fresh difficulty. The text is about to run out, but the music continues for another minute or so, and during that time I must decide for myself what to talk about as I play. My remarks are to be genuinely improvised and should include specific references to this particular performance and to the degree to which I have been failing or failing to fail or failing to fail to succeed or whatever. And as before, I must continue to speak at a normal pace in a normal tone of voice and maintain a balance between the speaking and the playing. As an additional challenge, I am supposed to link the written part of the text with the improvised part of the text so smoothly that no one will be able to tell exactly where the improvised speaking began. That's because I failed to fail, or failed to succeed, or succeeded in failing, or succeeded in succeeding, or whatever. The reason I decided to do this terrible accent end of the piece. In fact, the next two notes will be the concluding notes of the piece. And then it'll be your opportunity to improvise yourself by giving it any kind of round of applause you so desire.